welcome to Screen Source, your local source for movie news, reviews,
and trailers.
And views, if you want to help with that.
Yeah, we
That's
need
a good
more
one.
views.
I like that.
But my name is Hector.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Jess.
And we got a review of The Predator for you tonight, 2018, not to be confused with 87 Predator.
Yeah.
Which was better.
Or the 2010 Predator.
That's Predators.
Which was not better.
Oh, is it? Is it multiple?
So dumb.
Anything with Arnold in it is better, but that's just me.
Just to be clear, is this the only one, or don't all of them have multiple Predators except for the first one, maybe?
This is my first movie I've actually seen.
I think all of them have multiple Predators.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Yeah, you fact check us.
Do you count AVA?
How can you not?
PVA?
AVP.
AVP.
Yeah.
AVP.
HIV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah.
I don't know if that's I think AVP is a part of like the established lore, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
I know
probably.
1 and 2 probably count, because until you see that big trophy room with the xenomorph skeleton and everything else with the spines. I don't know how AVP factors in, because you got the whole Alien franchise to factor in with that, so I don't know.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine as far as
It's been too long. I can't tell you.
Anyway, so what were your general impressions on The Predator 2018?
General impressions. I will say it was kind of like going uphill very slowly, like in a good way as far as like my likeness to it, and then it crashed in the third act.
Yep.
And I want to get to that when we get to that.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jess?
I fell asleep several times. And usually that's saying something about the movie and less so about me. So
The internet's not going to think that.
I know, but I'm just saying, third act not so good.
What about you, Hector?
Well, everything leading up to the third act, I thought was actually pretty good.
It was okay.
It was different.
Yeah.
You can tell this is a Shane Black movie, written and directed. It's also written by Black's Monster Squad co-writer.
Okay.
So, you can tell, look, the little kid finding the mask and the aliens in suburbia. You can tell it's got that feel to it.
Sure. Which was a small part of this, but it was there.
I thought it was refreshing too.
I liked that part of it. Yeah.
So
I like that little boy
he was really
from
good.
Room. He's good. Yeah, he's a good actor.
Great actor. But so everything leading up to the third act, it was fun. I liked Olivia Munn. I liked the everyone in the veteran
Rejects.
psychological.
It's basically I don't fully remember the movie The Losers, but it feels like that. It's the rejects, right?
Yeah.
Pile.
All the people who went like crazy. So they had to lock them up.
And they were also memorable in one way or another. You had the guy with Tourette's. You had Keegan-Michael Key. I don't know what was up with him.
He was just
crazy.
He's clearly supposed to be the comic relief to the point where they, I think, said he's the comedy relief.
Yeah. He was probably the weakest point of that group for me, just because he went all crazy. Although it got better as it went on. My first impressions were like, oh, he's gonna go all in on this, isn't he? But no, it softened up a little, and I like that. And everyone else in that squad was good, except for the lead. I don't mind the lead actor.
I don't like him that much.
He did a good job, but he was very generic, white, blonde,
bland.
Another B word.
I guess you're right.
Tough
He
guy.
was generic. Like
Yeah.
he didn't like fully stand out. I mean, they
didn't
turned
do
it
it
into
for
an
me.
ensemble essentially.
Yeah.
This whole movie and crew, which I guess I kind of expected when they were showing that in the trailer, and they made that a point in the trailer. But
Yeah.
I don't know that I thought the whole thing was like going to revolve. The whole movie was going to
Yeah.
revolve around them and him and his family.
Yeah. And like I said, I didn't actually mind him. I thought he was good. He just
fine.
didn't get that extra something to do,
Yeah, I feel like they could have chosen someone better, but I really enjoyed the character that played, I think his name was Nettles or something, the Hispanic guy with the long hair.
Yeah,
and
that
then
one kept hitting on Olivia Munn.
Yeah, and then also the John David Washington. I really liked both of them a lot.
No, I don't think that was John David.
Was it John David Washington?
I don't think it was.
That was
no.
the guy from Moonlight.
Oh,
I don't know his
I
name.
forget his name. I confused him with John David Washington because I saw somebody said something about him being in this movie, but yeah, you're right. It's the guy from Moonlight.
He was good though.
He was really good.
Yeah,
He was really good.
Yeah, and he
Low
was
key.
kind of the lead of the losers prior to
Yeah.
the white savior,
Yeah.
right?
I wouldn't put it like that, but sure.
I also really liked the Latin guy because he had maybe my favorite line in the movie, and it was like, "Nobody calls me a pussy" or something like that.
So,
And that's why he. And then I think one of the other guys was like, "Yeah, I know you're a pussy." So
that was one of the best scenes in the movie.
yeah, her interacting with these guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, I think that's what's gonna polarize a lot of people though, because you go into Predator, you want big fat muscles, mustaches,
Yeah.
macho.
You want the 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this movie took that a little differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it went more the comedic route, which I actually liked. I had a
I
fun
liked it too.
time.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, like some of the comedy was like not funny. I mean, just to
Right.
say the least, and or like over the top, but very purposefully. I mean, they knew what they were doing in this movie, but I think maybe too much, and that's where it started to fall apart for me.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know if we
thought-
want to get into that yet.
Yeah.
You know, that's again, that goes back to Shane Black, because also Iron Man 3, very polarizing. It wasn't
Sure.
what people wanted or thought it was going to be, me included. I left the theater like, oh, I don't know about that.
I think people like 3 more than they like 1, or I'm sorry, more than they like 2. Right? It's 1, 3, 2, or something to
Well,
that effect.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty even on all 3 of them. I actually like 2 quite a bit. But,
Ah.
yeah, 3, it's got that slapstick comedy sometimes, like when the suit falls apart.
Sure,
And
yeah.
just like a lot of that. So that's Shane Black.
What I like about 3 though is the side story when he meets up with the family.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
kid. And that's,
Yeah.
again, a weird
You're right.
connection with the
Mhm.
Predator and Iron Man 3.
It felt a lot like that.
Shane Black has a thing for little boys.
Little boys. What does that say about him?
That's-
Well, no, he only has a thing for sexual predators.
that's
Relax,
for his
relax.
father. But yeah, I don't know. I like the kid. His story with his dad was cute.
Yeah,
It's different. Again,
until we find out what the kid was for the whole time.
well,
right?
yeah, let's get into that. Spoilers ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Full speed.
Yes. So yeah, can I get into like where it started to fall apart for me?
Yeah.
So like it was like okay, and then they have to band together, right? Because the Predator is like, and he taps on the mic and he's like, I've been enjoying watching you guys fight, and and I'm going to give you guys 7 minutes and 31 seconds to make this fun for me, because this is all about me. And then they band together, and then that's where I thought it started falling apart. It's also the part I expect people that are fans of the action-y A-team side of this, as you were mentioning before, where them and I maybe diverge, because it does start getting it gets really action-packed from then on, right? And prior to then, it's not like it wasn't, but it was like non-stop in that third act.
Yeah, well, you know, that full third act was screened for audiences, and they actually had to reshoot most of it.
I
read.
remember hearing that.
So you can kind of tell it's very tonally dissonant from the rest of the more
Yeah.
fun.
It was funner prior to that.
Yep.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Where they jump the shark, if you will, is when when they're both of the best buds are dying in the forest.
Oh no, I love that.
Jesus Christ! I almost stood up.
Stupid.
I was the only person in the theater like laughing because of how
didn't
much
laugh,
I
but
hated
I was
it.
just like, oh no.
And I freaking,
No.
I love
Because you
that.
saw it coming a mile away. I mean, there is something charming about it, but also I was like, I remember saying out loud, like, I hate this. I hate this movie. I hate all of this. That really, and then the next part that really bummed me out was like, the autistic kid is the future. So they're looking for
Yeah.
autistic blood to pour into
Yeah.
their own veins.
I didn't like
and
that either.
That's just a story thing. I don't know how long they had that in mind. I don't know if that was a part of the reshoot or not. I'll bet
Yeah.
that was a part of the original story.
I didn't
though.
like that they made Olivia Munn. The only time the Predator like didn't attack someone was
When
when
she was-
Olivia Munn was naked. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, that's a little sexist.
That did stand out a little bit. And she,
it's
like,
like,
she was a good character for most of
She
the
was
movie.
good.
Other than
Yeah.
that, though, then
They actually made her like a smart, like intelligent biologist. And then the scene at the beginning with her dog, that's her actual dog in real life. I was like, oh, that's her dog.
The little
yeah.
cocker.
Yeah. It's a like King Charles Spaniel or something.
Ah, gotcha.
But yeah, I didn't like that part.
Yeah, it felt a little. exploitative.
Yeah.
But you know, everything else with Olivia Munn, I really liked. She was really good in it, and
Yeah.
you know, like we were talking about earlier, the Predator movies are hyper machistic,
Yeah.
big boy,
But
Yeah.
cheese
big
dick.
pants, movies.
Machismo.
Machismoic.
Machismoic.
But yeah, so Olivia Munn gave it like a nice feminine presence.
Yeah.
My
To the
cheese
movie?
dick.
Which is good, and Yvonne Strahovski too. I liked as the mom.
Yeah.
of
Who's-
the little
oh
kid.
yes,
I
yeah,
really
she was
like
good.
her.
You're right.
she's-
When they focused on family and relationship dynamics,
Yeah.
it was actually okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that actress is great. She's really good in Dexter, and she's really good in Handmaid's Tale.
She's in Chuck. I don't know. Is she
Yeah.
in Dexter too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And she's also in Handmaid's Tale. She's like a huge part in Handmaid's Tale. So
the CGI was off. I
Okay.
thought it would be
Yeah.
better. I don't know what happened
That was
there.
the third act, man.
It was just the third act.
The Predator, the actual Predator suit for the first Predator, little normal baby Predator, was good.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was all practical. You
Mm.
could tell it was very tangible, which I liked. I love practical effects.
Yeah.
me too.
And then the big boy Predator, he looked fine.
He looked like scary.
Yeah.
Like, he was enormous. He looked like he was like a predator that was on steroids, basically.
Well, he was all kinds of interspecies.
Yeah, yeah. That was
steroids.
the
Right.
that was
Now-
the crux of the film
I
at the
mean,
end.
that part was kind of cool that they like said, "Oh, they found out a way to take the best parts of different species and put them all together, essentially, and
Yeah.
create a hybrid."
Including autistic children.
Well, and
yes.
I think that's what's gonna again divide so many people. If you tie this into the rest of Predator movies, the first one is so good because it's standalone. You don't know what this thing is. It's hunting them down. It's
Right.
an alien. It's just doing it for sport. It's very small and smart. So then when you're trying to expand beyond this, saying it's the next step in evolution, they're actually hunting the best of the best so they can upgrade themselves. It's
It's difficult to do because like where do you go? Also, they haven't like left Earth, and
Right.
so yeah, I was thinking a lot about the Alien films and how they rebooted that in recent years, or starting with it wasn't the Covenant one; it was the one prior to that,
Prometheus.
Prometheus, and then the Covenant one. Yeah, and that they leave Earth. I mean, which is similar to the first ones, obviously too, but. I think they figured out a way to make that story work. Whereas in this reboot of Predator, which is clearly going to be a part of a trilogy or something
boy.
like
yeah,
that.
I'm actually kind of excited for that. but
Are
we'll
you?
get to that Later.
Okay.
Only if they bring Arnold back. If they don't bring Arnold back, then I'm not watching it.
yeah. I don't know if we want to get into that last scene, but one of our friends had a really good tag to that, or what it should have been.
Okay.
So when that box opens and like it felt like a mid-credit scene almost, you know?
Yeah, it should have been in the middle of the credits.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
end credit or whatever.
Yeah.
When they were like, it's a predator killer. That's what the boy says, right?
Uh-huh.
When he's on the computer, like, oh, it's a predator killer. And the box opens, and my buddy's like, this better be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
He better pop out of the box.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd be like, "Oh, A+ movie."
Right? Yeah.
yeah, pot's too small. You can't fit Arnold.
You can't fit all of
He's
Arnold
too
in there.
beefy.
Yeah. He's all beef, no man.
But
I don't
no,
know.
it's actually an Iron Man gauntlet
Right.
thing,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
armor. I don't know. It's jumping the shark a little bit if you ask me. But that's
Yeah.
why
I thought
the-
they did that way before that scene, but
Yeah.
Well, that's just okay. That's
Yeah.
doing that's the Jaws shark. This is the Meg shark.
ah, gotcha. Yeah.
And then the bigger Meg shark. Spoilers for the Meg.
Oh shit! I didn't know it was a bigger. Well, yeah. There's always a bigger fish, right?
But yeah. So now they're gonna take the fight to them, and he's got this mech predator suit and generic.
If it's not
white-
the doctor doing it, then I don't want to watch the next one. The one that accidentally gets it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh, what's happened to my body?
Yeah.
No, we're
Um,
gonna get our generic.
Yeah.
Actually, that end scene was like, that's mine, or I got dibs on. I was like, okay, that's fun. You're not as bland as I first thought.
Well,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. It's difficult. I don't want to necessarily blame him. I mean, a lot of it was the writing. The writing
Yeah.
was
He needed that edge.
right.
Yeah.
I'm.
I haven't heard so many fucks in a movie in a long time. I will say that. But it was kind of enjoyable because I feel like that never happens.
Sure. What do you think about the bad guy in this film?
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K.
Oh,
Brown.
I love Sterling K. Brown.
You were
We needed-
into it?
we needed more of him just hamming it up, doing this tough guy bully stuff.
Yeah.
It's so weird for Sterling K.
It's really
Brown
weird.
to be in this kind
To
of.
me, because normally he's so, I don't know.
He's nice.
He's-
He's like he's
Yeah.
composed. He's very.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
saw Hotel Artemis.
No.
He was in that. He was probably one of the highlights of that. He was like the halfway point between what's that show on NBC called?
This Is Us.
It was like halfway between This Is Us and The Predator. It was like in
Okay.
between that.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So when they dialed that notch up all the way on Predator, I was like, hey, why don't we get more of this character?
Sure,
That's
sure.
cool. That's fun.
Everything's dialed up in this movie. It was very like everything was a caricature.
Yeah.
And again, like I say 18 because it kind of felt like that. Like that's what they were aiming
it did,
for.
actually, yeah.
Um,
Who was Mr. T?
I don't know, but they all died, which kind of bothered me. They all were all
That
killed.
bothered me too. Like, why are you gonna kill off all the main characters?
Well, it was done so unceremoniously too, except
Yeah.
for Michael Keegan, the other guy.
The double shot.
I love that. That's probably one of my favorite things I've seen all
It's
year.
like you have this great
funny 'cause that is
cast
my
of
least favorite
people,
thing.
and then you just kill them all off.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, we got generic white guy, his son, and Olivia Munn. So that's
Olivia Munn, fine, but the generic
come
white guy, nah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's
Meh.
gonna. The next movie is gonna be about him. She's gonna be
Uh-huh.
the sidekick, and then the kid's gonna be the person at the computer, right?
Yeah.
We're
And
starting
maybe,
to build.
And maybe they'll have like they'll like get together because he's like separated or divorcing his wife or something.
come
Sure.
on to get back with Yvonne.
I know, me too.
Yeah, that's some
but,
good
but
chemistry.
I doubt it. I feel like it's gonna be like, oh, Olivia Munn, new love interest. or
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they even get her back for the sequel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She wasn't too happy after this.
Right. That's true.
But yeah, they're starting to build the tropes for the second one already. The first one, although it had a lot of tropes, I do think that they did some interesting things with it. Like, for instance, like how they all met each other. They met in the back of this bus. You know, like I don't know that I've seen that before. So
Yeah.
that was kind of a
Yeah.
cool twist on like how to build this team
Yeah.
of rejects.
I love when the kid puts the mask on and then he tapes it and then
Oh,
he's
gosh.
walking around and then he shoots that guy.
That was a little too cutesy, but you know, my suspense of disbelief was thrown out the window. Pretty
Yeah,
early
I think
on,
you had to
so-
do that, and I was trying to do that, and that's why, again, most of the movie I was like, you know what, like I think I could watch more of this. I can watch more, and then kind of fell apart.
You guys have a favorite part?
If you were to ask me what my least favorite part is, it's that. Favorite part, that's different. Well, again, I think it was that Latin guy. Maybe that living room scene, honestly, like you were
Yeah.
mentioning before. I liked that weird dynamic and how they all slowly went. They didn't just there was almost a justification for all of them to go. It was kind of weak, but it's still like we're a band of brothers now, we got to stick together. And then him saying like, don't call me, nobody calls me a pussy. That's a good line. It's a funny line.
My favorite, well, I don't know if this is a scene or a line. My favorite line was "Get in the chopper" because it was an homage to the
Of
Arnold.
course, they had
So
to
many
do that.
of those.
Yeah.
Olivia Munn says, "You are one beautiful mother." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's cute." Shane Black.
So a couple like standout scenes. Did you guys enjoy the introduction to this? You like how they started this off?
That was
He's in the sniper and he runs into the predator.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was okay.
I'll agree with that.
I like the stuff when the little predator, not big predator, was just when he was
Kicking
in
ass.
all in that lab. That lab stuff was good.
Yeah.
I think the violence was like a little too clean. Like like they didn't show enough. Although like and also when you did see stuff, the CGI. There's nothing that takes me out of a scene. Action scene specifically, like CGI blood and like CGI body doubles. You can just tell. It's
Oh yeah,
all
like
Yeah.
ripping him apart. I do
When
like
that
when he
guy's
lifted him up and kept
intestines
stabbing
was,
him.
Like were like pouring out.
Yeah, when it's real like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, but yeah, you can just tell some stuff is computer, which is a shame because the actual Predator looked fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
His face looks very. I have to say that the Predator's face looks very much like a woman's private
You're
area.
probably not the first to think that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with teeth,
Mhm.
which is really.
yeah, that's why I was
terrifying.
like, why am I aroused? And the whole film. Yeah, I guess it fell apart when the big predator came in. Maybe
Pretty
right?
much.
Yeah, and it was very unexpected when.
Well,
Uh,
I've seen the previews. I was kind of waiting for it the whole time, so when it finally dropped, I'm like, oh, this is just a different movie now.
Right. Yeah, it
Cool.
did feel like two different kind of films. Like it was, and that makes sense with the reshoot. Totally.
Yeah, I'm sure that was just studio notes. Like, we gotta
Yeah.
have a big CGI spectacle.
God, that always happens. Yeah.
And, you know, with someone like Shane Black, like shouldn't you just trust him, let him make his movie? He's been in the industry for quite a while now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he can make his own movies next time. He did say he's interested in picking up the rest of the trilogy.
Nice. One other scene I just wanted to point out was, did you guys like when Olivia and the crew met? When she wakes up and...
Yeah, I thought that was
That was so
hilarious.
good.
It was kind of charming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all those veterans are so endearing.
Yeah.
They could have just gone for the easy, like, oh, they're big, they're intimidating, they don't care. Oh, look, a woman. Oh no.
Right.
They're all super nice.
Putting snacks and
in the
He's
little
Stuff.
unicorn.
I like that he went outside and he's like, is she going to be okay in there by himself? He's like, yeah, they're just soldiers,
And
relax.
she picked up the shotgun and
And
like,
they
do
made
the
bets
10
on it.
That was great.
That was
I
not,
like when
yeah.
she was running and she like jumped on the top of the bus when it was like moving. I liked that part.
And when
She was
he's
chasing
like, come on,
Predator.
come down. And she's like, okay. And she jumps down and he wasn't there. And then oddly, she like jumps on the front of the bike?
motorcycle.
Who does that?
Yeah,
Why would you jump on the back?
It's
Do you
because
remember
her
that?
leg was all messed up, but I thought
She,
that was
she was
funny.
asleep. She knocked.
She started to fall. Yeah, because
Oh,
she had just shot
with a
herself.
trank, right?
That's a good
Yeah.
point. She had just shot
Yeah.
herself. But that was another scene that I liked though when they met and it was really weird. I was like, this is odd comedy, but like they somehow pulled it off when he's like, I'm gonna eat your pussy, and she's like, did you just say eat your pussy? No. And then I like when they all start talking on top of each other and there's banter.
Yeah, I liked that
The
too.
banter is like
That's the best part of it.
Yeah.
it's the best part of the film.
Yep.
They figured out how to give these characters a way to communicate with each other, and not all of it's perfect, but
Yeah.
had we seen more of that, I bet it would have been generally a more
it would have
enjoyable
been
film.
better and more enjoyable. I agree.
Yeah.
If this wasn't part of the Predator franchise, however convoluted the continuity is by now with all the aliens and the AVPs and the other Predators, if it wasn't just seeing it as a Predator movie, I think it's really good.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Is it? What if there even wasn't necessarily a Predator? I think like what would you see these? Would you want to watch this team of guys together again? And plus Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
and whoever else.
I
is in
think
this
so.
film.
I think there because they all died in the third act.
Mhm.
That was kind of the part of the sad or bad part of it for
Mhm.
me.
It's the third act. man.
Yeah,
Just-
and it was just not good in general. But
It reminds me a little bit of Deadpool 2 when they introduced the team.
well, that was all just a
but
one
that was
little
like
bit.
that was like supposed to be
A lot of people.
That was a good.
I guess a lot of people didn't like it because they want to see this team.
Yeah.
right
Because it was so funnily put together, and
Yeah.
then them dying 2 seconds later.
Yeah, I know.
I was great. That really
was
hit
so
me.
Funny. And
That
then
was
it
the
turned
highlight.
out
Yeah.
being Brad Pitt, that one guy.
Vanisher, boy Vanisher. Rest in
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah.
This-
Okay.
this was
So
different because you got a chance to get to know them and you got a chance to like them as characters, and then they're dead. And you're like,
yeah,
really?
this film is far from perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't go amongst my favorites for this. This is kind of like, and we were talking about this earlier. This kind of like marks the end of summer, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
this is probably the last.
I can't think of anything else
Summer
that's coming
blockbuster.
out. I mean, we're coming into Halloween season with a lot of scary movies.
mhm.
There's a huge block of them.
And Prestige season, baby. Best time of the year.
Mhm,
Most
mhm.
wonderful time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so depending on what eyes you view it in, I think we can all agree Predator is okay.
Yeah,
Gotta view it with a different mindset.
yeah. I'd say
It's
yeah.
just kind of a cheesy action movie, which is probably what it was aiming for anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the friend that we went with is he's so into action films. Like, this is his genre. He's so into them that he has a book club where they read novels based off of action films. Like, he reads Die Hard. He reads Predator.
Get
he-
that on color. Watch that.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem too thrilled with the movie, and I think it probably wasn't enough of that action side for him, whereas I appreciated other things about it. So it's hard to tell who this movie's for, I guess.
For me, if it's a comedy, it works pretty well.
Yeah, and like a comedy with action. Yeah, and then they add the sci-fi elements and stuff.
Sure.
And yeah, it's hard because they're genre mixing. a lot.
Predator is kind of just a cool monster,
Mhm.
It's just like I like that it's like stealth mode. It's
Mhm.
awesome.
I don't know. This is a little left field here, but I asked my friend in the theater, like, who's cooler, Alien or Predator?
No,
Would you guys have an
Alien.
answer for this?
Alien.
Oh, hers was very quick. Who's cooler for you, Hector?
I don't know. These new movies have really changed my perspective.
For the worst, huh?
Yeah, Prometheus and I really like Covenant, although I do agree this chronology is just, it's too dumb. It's worse than DC's at this point.
For all of them, they've all hit their bonkers stage. I'm a fan. I really like the reboot of the Alien franchise. But so are you saying Predator?
Yeah, I'm probably Predator's cooler.
Yeah,
first vanilla Predator, not big.
Gotcha.
Evolve.
You don't like the big one?
No.
Mine would be Alien. Yeah, definitely. But it's like I kind of like the horror and the way they approach action relative to the way.
Yeah.
It's action that's less like you were saying, machistic. Is that what you said before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Predators for more machistic.
I prefer like Ripley as a main character than most main characters. But yeah.
That's just a classic.
Yeah.
All right. So final thoughts. What's your score in stars, numbers, or letters?
I give this 1.5 out of 4 cheese dicks.
Jess?
C minus.
C minus. I'm gonna go C plus.
C plus. Can I, just to be sure, when you go into editing for this, when I said cheese dicks, I want some sort of image to come up that shows 1.5 out of 4 of them.
Piece of cheese.
Something like that, yeah. And then yours could be, your regular grades in front of you, but
I'll do that. All right. So.
Oh God, we got real gross.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it.
That was our review for The Predator here on Screen Source. Stay tuned every Thursday for new episodes and every day for other shows here.
Get down, get in the chopper.
Get in the chopper. Hit our Patreon, our twitch.tv/ColorCircuit Live. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, follow, all the verbs. I can't think of anything else.
Nope.
All right.
And if you want to read my full review of The Predator, read at sandiafilmjournal.wordpress. That's my personal movie website.
Sweet.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.